Hey there, YouTube. So in this video, I wanted to talk about Schedule N for the Form 1120. Schedule N is filed if you have a U.S. corporation that is engaged in business in a non-U.S. country, so they have foreign operations, and they need to file Schedule N with their Form 1120, and then depending on the extent to which they have foreign operations, they might need to include additional forms or schedules. So I have one slide in front of us, and then I have some PDFs here with some example Schedule N. So we'll go through the slide, and then we'll jump into the examples. So again, Schedule N is included with the Form 1120 if the U.S. Corp operated a business in a foreign country or a U.S. possession during the year. Okay, so if it operates in a foreign jurisdiction, you've got to include Schedule N. And then depending on the extent to which you operate, how you operate through a foreign sub, a branch, a foreign partnership, whatever that might be, that's again going to drive the potential additional filings that you will need. So let's look at two examples here. We have a U.S. corporation with a foreign branch operation. So we have Fake Corporation Inc. It's a Delaware C Corp formed in 2020. And John is the only shareholder, right? So John lives and works full-time in Sydney, Australia. He's a sole proprietor for the most part, but he has a legal entity set up. So he's operating from Sydney. He decides to open an office, hire an employee, and then he also opens a bank account under the Fake Corporation Inc. name in Australia. Now, given John's activities and nexus with Australia, he has created a foreign branch office in Sydney for that U.S. corporation, right? So a foreign branch is generally regarded as business operations in a foreign country that are not being conducted through a subsidiary entity, okay? So in this case, John hasn't set up any kind of subsidiary in Australia, right? He just has his one company, and he's operating it from Sydney. So in this case, what John has done is he's created a foreign branch for his Delaware corporation. So he needs to complete Schedule N in addition to Form 1120 that's being filed. And he should add a Form 8858 to his Form 1120 tax return. Now, the 8858 is used for foreign disregarded entities or foreign branch operations. So, given his activities, that makes sense, right? He has a foreign branch operation, so we need Schedule N, and he needs an 8858. So, let's look at the example Schedule N for John here. If we flip up here, so we have Schedule N. We have Fake Corporation Inc. You have the EIN. Again, this is going along with the 1120. Okay, so you do not file this separately. It goes with the tax return. Question 1A, during the tax year did the corporation own any foreign entity that was disregarded, or did the corporation own directly or indirectly any foreign branch? And that's where we have yes, right? We have a foreign branch operation. We don't have a legal entity set up. So we don't have this foreign disregarded entity issue, but we do have a branch. And so if yes, we have the 8858 that's also included with the return. We have one that's going along with it, and that's what we're going to be filing. Now the rest of the questions here, 8865 for foreign partnership interest, we don't have any of that, right? Because again, the corporation doesn't own any other legal entities, right? So it's not invested in anything else. So no foreign partnership interest. So we don't have that. 5471s are for foreign controlled foreign corporations. Don't have any of those. And then 3520s, nothing there, right? Because we don't have any trusts. For 6A, we do answer yes, right? So the corporation did have an interest in a foreign bank account because John's operating there. He opened a foreign bank account in the corporate name. So we do answer yes. It was set up in Australia. And so John will file FinCEN Form 114, the FBAR, with the FinCEN governmental authority, right? So it's a separate tax filing, well, it's not a tax filing, it's a separate reporting requirement that goes to FinCEN rather than the IRS. Okay? So that covers it for that example. Let's go back to the slide and look at example number 2. So we have a U.S. corporation with a wholly owned foreign corporate subsidiary. So we got the same Fake Corporation Inc., Delaware Corp. This is set up by Frank and Thomas. They're equal shareholders. Frank and Thomas live and work full-time in Singapore. Now, in order to open a local office in Singapore, they needed to have a local entity. So they set up a Singapore corporation, and this corporation is owned 100% by the Delaware entity. So what they've done here is they've set up a parent-subsidiary corp relationship, okay? So Singapore Corporation is going to be a CFC for federal tax purposes because a U.S. person, the Delaware entity, owns 100% of the foreign corp. Now, when the Delaware Corporation files its Form 1120, it has to include a 5471 for the CFC, and they should also include Schedule N, right, because they have foreign operations. So they'll need both of these. Schedule N for the foreign operations, and then a 5471 with the Form 1120 for the controlled foreign corporation in Singapore. So if we look at the sample Schedule N. Let me flip over to this. Okay, so we have Schedule N again, Fake Corporation Inc. So we look at question 1A. In this case, we're answering no, right? Because during the year, the corporation did not own an interest in a disregarded entity, nor did it operate a branch, right? Because now its activities are being conducted through a separate legal company. So no 8858s, again, no 8865s. But then when we get down to here, for B, enter the number of 5471s, we have one, right? So we are operating overseas through a foreign corporate subsidiary. And so we've got a 5471 that's included. 3520s, again, no trusts, so we answer no there. 6A, yes, we have direct and indirect interests in Singapore bank accounts, so we're doing the same FinCEN Form 114. And then the 7A through 8 is also no, just like the example before, so none of these apply. So Schedule N, again, I mean, it should be filed every time you have any kind of foreign operations. But then again, how you answer the questions and what additional forms might be required depend on how you are structured and operating overseas. So I hope that was helpful. That covers everything I wanted to address on this video. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment below. Happy to answer when I can. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thank you very much.